What that shit say?
When she hit that AA, she ain't got no head. I hit the bitch once, don't wanna hit again. Tryna put up late night to hit the friend. And she gon' throw it back when the niggas on for the win. You know the choke, they gon' say lit.
Yca Eightybands, an artist, a hustler, and a survivor. His name carries the weight of his experiences, his struggles, and his triumphs. From the streets of South Central Los Angeles to building his empire, his story isn't just about music. It's about resilience, loyalty, and the drive to succeed against all odds. This is the story of Yca Eightybands. Born March 14th, 1993 in Long Beach, California, Yca Eightybands came into the world fighting. Premature and unable to come home for months, his first days were spent in a hospital bed. But the fight didn't stop there. Breathing problems forced him back to the hospital, where doctors performed a tracheostomy to save his life. From day one, Yca proved he was a fighter. His mother, determined to keep him alive and thriving, learned to care for him herself. She didn't coddle him, though. Instead, she raised him with a mindset of strength and independence. It wasn't just about surviving, it was about thriving, no matter what life threw at him. Yca Eightybands grew up in South Central Los Angeles, a place that gave him both inspiration and hardship. At just 6 years old, he experienced one of his first major losses, the murder of his blood cousin, Big Freeze, a key member of the legendary nationwide Rip Riders. Freeze's death on Christmas morning in 1999 left a mark on young Yca, fueling a mix of anger and ambition that would stay with him for years. Music was always in the background of his life. Influenced by Crip artists from Watts, Compton, and South Central, like the nationwide Rip Riders, Yca found a way to channel his pain and environment into creativity. These early influences laid the foundation for his music career. With his father, Big Half dead, serving a 19-year prison sentence, Yca was raised by his mother alongside his siblings. He attended several schools in Los Angeles, including Lauren Miller Elementary, LaSalle Elementary, Horace Mann Middle School, Bethune Middle School, and Crenshaw High School, giving him exposure to different parts of the city and a deeper understanding of his community. His older brother, Infant Dog, and stepfather, Big T-Dog, were tied to the streets, and their influences inevitably rubbed off on Yca. By the time he was 14, he was officially put on with the mainstream mafia Crips. The streets weren't kind, though. Living in the 8-trait Hoover set, Yca became a target as tensions between Hoovers and Main Street Crips escalated. It was during this time that he met his best friend. At first, they didn't even like each other, but one night changed everything. The two teamed up during a robbery, walking away with a significant amount of cash. That night, their rivalry turned into loyalty, and they started a journey of survival together. In 2011, Yca's mother decided to move the family to Lancaster, California, hoping to escape the violence of South Central. But even there, the dangers followed. On February 4th, 2012, Yca's best friend was killed, a loss that shook him to his core. Despite the risks, Yca attended his friend's candlelight vigil in the heart of the Hoover set. His loyalty didn't waver, even in the face of danger. This act of courage proved to himself and everyone else that his bond with his friend transcended life and death. At just 18 years old, Yca found himself entangled with the legal system. Convicted of battery, he served 3 months in the Los Angeles County Jail and received a 5-year joint suspended sentence. It seemed like a way to avoid further trouble, but life in the streets made staying out of jail nearly impossible. A few years later, Yca served another 14 months in the county jail after violating his sentence, facing the possibility of a 5-year term. He agreed to a deal that kept him from serving the original time. This chapter of his life taught him hard lessons about loyalty, survival, and the system's grip on young men like him. At 20 years old, Yca received life-changing news while serving time. He was about to become a father. Missing the birth of his first child was a painful reality, but it gave him a newfound sense of purpose. After his release, he reunited with his child, who was already 8 months old. Being a father wasn't just a role, it was a responsibility that fueled his desire to change his life. Despite his efforts to stay on the right path, YCA found himself serving a 5-year prison sentence. It was during this time that he faced some of his toughest changes: violent riots, isolation, and the realization that the streets don't love nobody. But prison also offered moments of clarity. Working in fire camp, YCA discovered a resilience he didn't know he had. During this same term, he reunited with his father, Big Half Dead, for the first time in nearly a decade. Their time together in prison gave YCA the perspective and motivation to break the cycle for his own children. After his release, YCA turned his focus to music, collaborating with notable Los Angeles artists like Chef Boy, D3 Season, and members of the Stink Team. He built a catalog that reflected his journey. Over the years, YCA has dropped 5 albums, countless singles, and music videos, turning his pain into purpose. Just as things were looking up, tragedy struck again. YCA's older brother, YCA Stackman, was involved in a life-threatening car accident. The incident left YCA feeling like he was back at square one. But thanks to Stackman's strength and recovery, YCA found the motivation to keep pushing forward, turning his pain into drive. Today, Yca 80Bands is not just an artist. He's a symbol of resilience and hope. Featured on platforms like No Jumper and Corner Store LA, YCA is showing the world that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you can always rise again.